Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Long Beach Veterans Memorial Stadium, where tonight, week 4 of this high school season continues on. The Los Alamitos Griffins, after a 3-week road trip, travel home for the first time in 2011 to host the University of Los Angeles Wildcats. Hi again, everybody. Fritz Pollard, Lindsay Mays, Keith Jones, great to have you along as Los Alamitos Television proudly presents high school sports. Let's start with Los Alamitos. They are perfect 3-0. They have been putting points on every team. Norwalk, 70 points. Against Mayfair, 56 points. Last week against West Adams Prep, they ran into a little bit of a challenge, 21-8. Talk to us about that game.
And that challenge is, I think, going to invigorate the team today. I think they're going to come out with vigor. I think Coach Barnes had a really harsh talk with them about their performance. They need to come out today raging fast. They can't slack off. You know, we've had Dylan Lagarde throwing long passes. He only threw 2 short TD passes last week. So I think tonight we're going to see a different team than we saw last week, and I think it's going to be a good show for us tonight.
Well, and Los Alamitos really needed a good test. Lagarde, you say only 2 passes. He's been lighting up the scoreboard. We saw a defensive guy come in and really carry the offense, Joe Locker.
Well, we needed Joe Locker. According to Coach Barnes, Cody Paul was getting roughed up. You know, he's 5'5", short guy. We need someone who could go up the middle, and that was Locker. And he proved that after a three-line goal line stand, that Locker could bring it back and score and get it off the field. So I think we're going to see a good game today. And I don't know how much we'll see about Locker, but hopefully it'll be a great game.
Well, it will be, and Los Alamitos looking to carry on that perfect record. Now, on the other side of the ball, we've got a perfect record too. University, 2 wins. Last year, they did not win a game. They're on a roll this year.
Last year, the last time they won a game, people were buying houses. It's been a while, dude. They've won 1 game in 3 seasons. So they're ecstatic now to be 2-0. A lot of unanswered questions about the team in general. Very young team, very few seniors. First year of a new head coach who they're clearly happy with, but they're still building. They're glad to be back in the winner's circle, and they think that this will be a real test for the program this year. They've been real clear about it. It's going to be their defense. It's going to be about causing turnovers. They've got a couple of linebackers, both juniors, Eddie Aguilera being one of them, that are basically going to try to play denture defense the entire game. Now, if you don't know what denture defense is, that means you spend the entire game in the quarterback's face.
You heard it here first, one of the backup coaches for University. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take our seats upstairs. Would like to thank Play It Again Sports for sponsoring our pregame show. Don't go away. Week 4, exciting action coming at you. We'll take our seats upstairs and be right back with the kickoff.
Quit playing around and clean out the garage.
Quit playing around, huh? Yeah. I'll show her. Let's go, Joe.
Clean out your garage and sell Play It Again Sports, your gently used sports and fitness gear.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Vet in Long Beach, where tonight, week 4 is just moments away from unfolding. My name is Fritz Pollard. Alongside me, Keith Jones, and downstairs, Lindsay Mays. It's the University Wildcats taking on the Los Alamitos Griffins. Would like to take this opportunity to again thank Consolidated Disposal Services, an environmental partner you can count on. And this game is also brought to you by CI Solutions, owned by our own good friend, Mark Cole, a tight end for the Los Alamitos Griffins 1978 team. Would also like to thank Randy Hill of First Team Real Estate, Sparta Graphics, and Southland Credit Union. Thank you to all of our sponsors for helping us bring tonight's game to the air. There you see the Los Alamitos Griffins trying to keep their perfect record alive here in 2011. Keith Jones, they had a bit of a scare last week.
Yeah, they absolutely did. You know, and it's funny, I think you mentioned in the pre-show that we talk about only scoring as much as they did, but given the pattern, you know, that was a low-scoring game for them, and a game I think they expected to do better in. Although I will say this, West Adams Prep better than I think some expected. I think that they were a better team than we had faced, and you know that's gonna that's going to play out on the scoreboard.
So far in the season, University, as you take a look at them there, Coach Lee Lowe in his first year and has the Wildcats to a perfect 2-0 record, but it has been all but unperfect there at University High School as they have had a struggle over the years. So far this year, a win against Amino South in Los Angeles and Panorama City. Both those games, a 49-6 victory and a 28-13 victory. So University elects to take the ball to get things started. And back deep, you see him in your frame there, Epps. He is also their running back. Tevin Epps, 5'9", 175-pound junior.
He's going to play a key role in the offense tonight. He averages over 6.5 yards a carry, so look for them to call his number a lot.
And number 47, Brett Baton, one of the strongest kickers in Southern California, and that is why that will represent his 13th touchback of the season, eliminating any return threat for University.
So now I'm interested to see how University comes out here. You know, they've had 2 games where they got it done completely different.
Quarterback, Olive Vanna. The running back, Epps. Your wide receivers, Zambuano, Brown, White, and Clark. On the line, Armis, Oden, Sanchez, Sands, and Baker.
Number 77, Armis on right tackle. He is the leader of this offensive line.
First play from scrimmage for the Wildcats. Handoff and eaten up right away. Nice tackle there by the Griffins.
Yeah, that play went nowhere. They were right on him. I mean, there was definitely a hole, but it was for the defense, it looks like.
Well, let's take a look at that defense. On the line, Brand, Hostetler, Bromberg, and Hayden. Your linebackers are Marshall. Locker is the anchor of that linebacking core. And Seichi, your other linebacker on the corner, is Corder Lee and Stea. And then your safeties, Brown and Tyler. In fact, that defense, pivotal role in a goal line stand last week against West Adams Prep. On the 1-yard line after a ball bounces off of Cody Paul's helmet, and the defense having to come in and make a huge stop. And then they put the ball in the hands of Joe Locker, the running back, 6 foot, 220-pound senior, to literally get it out of West Adams territory. And that was really a turning point in that game.
Well, and you know what? They need to play goal line defense every down, right? I don't care where the ball is. Shut it down. Stop those yards. Not surprised that the Wildcats are already regrouping. I mean, this is a bit of an overwhelming game for them. You know, they're here for an education. Everything is a big deal to them. The size of the crowd, the size of the stadium. The coach says that for most of the varsity, this is only their 3rd varsity game in life.
That's serious stuff. Tevin Epps, the 5'9", 175-pound junior, with the first carry, and it was for a loss. So mark the ball on the 17-yard line. University hoping to get some positive yards. And Epps again, second play in a row, second play from scrimmage, taken down, and big stop there by Hayden.
Yeah, so they may start shifting gears right away. Like I said, in their first 2 games, they won with different approaches. Last week, their quarterback threw for 3 of their 4 touchdowns, so big air game. The week before that, 7 touchdowns on the ground. So, they've got some options here, and I'm pretty sure they're going to go with the pass this time.
Well, this will be a great opportunity. Olive Vanna, 7 of 10, 70% passer for 111 yards on the season. That's after 2 weeks. Let's see, is that an offensive movement? Marshall jumped off sides. And a break for University as Cody Marshall got into the neutral zone in the first break for University.
Well, you know what, and definitely a break, but I think that it's part of the architecture. The coach said that against this Griffin team, they are going to try to cause mistakes and capitalize on mistakes. So that may have been an intended long count.
3rd down and 12. Clock continues to run. 10:26. Aleph Vanna going to give the hand up. That's Epps. And Epps gets enough for the first down. Correction. I'm sorry, I did not see that other marker. Epps just barely gets back across the initial line of scrimmage. So a quick 3 and out for University and turning it over to Los Alamitos. And Cody Paul, the very dangerous return man for Los Alamitos, stands on his 44-yard line. And you can bet this is going to be some pretty good field position.
Oh, that's going to be really good field position.
Yeah. And Los Alamitos, let's wait for the call.
It's there, touchdown.
So special teams play hiked right over the head of Anthony Milani, the sophomore, and that's the kind of thing that's going to cost you a game real quickly, especially against a tough team like Los Alamitos.
Absolutely. I was just making the observation that the Wildcats' game plan is to cause and capitalize on mistakes, and maybe the Griffins got the memo and thought it wasn't such a bad idea, because so far, 3 and out, 1 and oops.
Kyle Roberts, the holder. Looks like there's a little problem in locating the T. As Brett Baton comes in for the chip shot here. Extra point. Snap back, ball down. And that kick is up and good. So Los Alamitos jumps off to a very early 7-point lead, and the offense hasn't even touched the ball yet. Again, I'd like to thank Consolidated Disposal Services for their support of tonight's contest. Let's take another look at that, Keith.
Everything perfect right there. Gets an arm and a chest in the way, and then continues on and scoops it up. Great effort, great pursuit. That's textbook right there.
Samuel Quarterly. Nice block there. And I'd actually said that it was hiked over the punter's head. Correction, Quarterly with the block. And special teams coming through early. So the offense for Los Alamitos, with 9:39 left here in the first quarter, hasn't touched the ball yet. Special teams getting the points so far. So looks like the Wildcats will get another opportunity to try to do something offensively with this, as you see Baton already put 13 this season in the end zone. Let's see if he can make that 14. One of the stronger legs in Southern California, already getting a lot of talk around town. And that is in the end zone. So number 14 for Brett Baton.
Yeah, you know what? The kick game, it was a blessing. It seems like every time we need something, you look to the younger kids and bam. I don't know anybody that's not happy with our kicking game right now.
So second series for the Wildcats. Aleph Vanna saw 2 running plays go for a loss. A penalty gave them a little bit of yardage back, actually 3 running plays. Aleph, the quick handoff. Let's see if they made any adjustments during that little extra point break they had. And it looks like they're back to the same old thing, as Epps is stopped literally at the line of scrimmage.
Number 7, who's just they cut the shot. Number 7, wide receiver Doug Brown. Look for them to get him involved, and probably sooner than later. Like I said, he caught for almost 100 yards last game.
Pickup of 1 on the play. Clock continues to run. 9:08. Vanna going to his favorite guy, Epps. And Epps just not finding any room at all. They've picked up 1 on the first play. That one barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. And look at the Los Alamitos defense. They are pinning their ears back. You are going to have to get more creative if you're a Wildcat, because Los Alamitos is sniffing this one out.
Yeah, you know what? And when they lined up and they started spreading some of their key wide receivers out further, I thought, okay, we're going to see them toss the ball around. I was surprised to see them go on the ground again.
3rd down and 8. We've yet to see Vanna put the ball in the air, but they better start thinking about it, because this ground game's going nowhere. I formation, Epps is at the point. Vanna, nope, they'll stick with Epps. Epps goes outside, gets probably the biggest gain of the night, mark it at 3. And that'll be a turnover on downs. Coach Barry Shearer on the far side, all smiles. One of the defensive coordinators with the jacket on there. He's feeling pretty good about the game plan.
Oh, yeah, so far so good. I think that the offense is getting a little restless. They're like, let me play, coach. Get us in there.
They may have to go stretch. 7:45 left here in the first quarter, and Los Alamitos offense hasn't touched the ball yet. Milani back for University. Gets the kick away. It's going to back Cody Paul up a little bit. He'll pick this up on the fly at the 36-yard line, coming near side. Watch his speed. It's hard to close on him. One man to beat and pushed out of bounds by Milani, and Cody Paul, a very deceptive running back at 160 pounds, 5'6".
Hey, let me tell you where you really see his confidence on this. The kick's bobbled.
Let's hold that thought. We'll get back to it after the Los Alamitos offense. Lagarde, your senior quarterback, your running back, we just saw him, and Paul, your wideouts, Holmes, Keiko, Roberts, and Pastel. And then on the line, Rowdy Bush, Redmond, Anderson, Iacano, and Sanders.
The fact that ball hit the ground like a wounded duck, and, Cody Paul just became a shortstop, scooped that sucker up and said, I can do this.
So the Los Alamitos offense finally gets to touch the ball. Lagarde fakes it to Paul, gets it out on the far side. Kendall Holmes, look out. He's tough around the corner. First down and then some. Mark that at about the 14-yard line. Nice pickup on first down. Let's take a look at that defense for the Wildcats. On the line, Gardner, Arvalo, Okuli, and the linebackers Jackson, Rivas, Aguilar, and Lee. In your corners, Mills Morris, Robinson, and your safeties are Johnson and Mohammed. 7:05 left here in the first quarter. Cody Paul has a little bit of a lane. Gang tackled, which is about the only way you're going to get him down. That looks like a pickup of 8.
Yeah, you know what? The problem with Cody Paul, if you're on the defense, is first of all, he's compact, makes him hard to find. Second of all, he's always one of the fastest guys on the field, makes him hard to catch. And he's strong as anything, which makes him hard to tackle. Got to find him, catch him, and tackle him? That's a laundry list right there, my friend.
Big order, and hard to duplicate, with your scout team during the week.
Yeah.
And he is so deceptive with his speed. I've seen corners and safeties try and get an angle on him. It's tough. 2nd down and 4. Lagarde, first pass of the night. Has a man open. Let's wait for the call. Touchdown, Los Alamitos. And Mr. Joe Locker, coming off of his linebacking position, was one of the stars from last week's game. Again, given the ball to get Los Alamitos out of that dangerous spot last week against West Adams Prep with the touchdown.
And Locker, just a nice kid, by the way. But you see that big size coming at you when he's got the ball or when he's going out for a pass, it makes you think twice.
220-pounder. So out of the hold of Kyle Roberts, Baton punches it through. Los Alamitos quickly out to a 14-0.
So at this
lead.
point, you're the coach of you're the coaching staff for the Wildcats. Do you start playing football and stop playing chess? Let's see this.
There you go, the touchdown. So let's take this opportunity to thank another one of our sponsors who makes this broadcast possible. The businesses who are part of the Los Alamitos Best Elite Sports Team. You buy anything from these merchants, and they will give back a percentage to the local school activity of your choice. Some of those merchants include All-American Sign Company, Champions Quest, Joe's Premium Painting, and Mr. B's Sports Grill.
Hold on, I think I got that written down. I'm ready to go. Okay, I'm doing all that tomorrow.
Well, you spend a lot of money in town, so that should be fine.
Absolutely. I'm going to paint while I eat at Mr. B's.
I love it. 6:19 left here in the first quarter. Los Alamitos on top. Baton looking to stick it into the end zone again. And plenty of foot. Almost kicks it out of the end zone. And Wow is right.
Clearly these kicks help them with field position. I don't know how much help they're needing right now, but.
Well, Mills Morris didn't even get a chance to take a look at a return there. And I'll tell you, that's a pretty scary part of the game for a lot of these very athletic teams. But when you take away that return, you force the offense to work deep. Ball on the 20-yard line. 3rd possession for the Wildcats. Epps has been the only man to touch the ball. Vanna has not put it in the air once tonight, except for there.
Oh.
And that's maybe why. Interception, James Stea. And in for the touchdown. Wow.
Apparently the defense has challenged the offense to outscore them tonight. And I mean both of the Griffin team. You know, when they lined up, they split two guys out left, and they were clearly in a passing formation. The Griffins picked up on that right away. That was the first time that we'd seen them in that double left split formation.
Well, Keith, I don't know, was that ball hit at the line? Because that was a pretty wobbly pass coming out of there from Vanna and right into the hands of James Stea.
It may have been, because it didn't look like the receiver was running a pattern in sync with that ball at all.
Baton to attempt the extra point. And he's got plenty on that, but that's going to be a tired leg the way he's going. Los Alamitos cheerleaders, plenty to be cheering about here early in week 4 as the Griffins are pulling away 21-0. Take a look at that ball again. Let's see if that's tipped. Well, maybe
we didn't
not.
Get to see. Yeah, that may have bad throw, and I think missed pattern as well.
Well,
combined.
There were a handful of blockers downfield in front of Stea, but still there were a number of white shirts around there that allowed that touchdown to happen. So now I guess we know why Vanna may not be putting it in the air more. The question is, are you going to give it to Epps all night long?
Well, I'll tell you something interestingly enough. You know, Epps has got the starting job, but they've got another running back, Xavier Johnson, who actually has a few more yards than Epps due to breaking a big one. But they've got some other legs if that's their plan. You know, a lot of times teams will do that because they figure if they control the ball, possession, they control the game. But when you're down 21, you got to do something else.
So Baton, deep, no return there. And again, Miles Morris, 170-pound junior, just tosses it back to the referee. And the 20-yard line of the Wildcats, a very familiar part of real estate here tonight in week 4. Total yards, I'm going to have to take a guess, in 3 possessions is 4 yards maybe? And that's
you might give
forward
6.
progress.
I'm nice, you know.
Well,
yeah, right.
but that's not taking into account, yards lost.
Negative real estate, absolutely.
So very interesting play calling for offensive coordinators. Vanna, back to Epps, and same result.
Huh. I'm just starting to get perplexed.
Let's take a look at, from the offensive side of the ball for the Wildcats, over 2 games, and again, Los Al's played 3. They played a week 0 game. Most teams are in their third week. So for University, this is a 2-game review. Epps, 6 carries, 64 yards, 11-yard average. That's in the first 2 weeks. Let's see here. Brown, he had 3 catches for 36 yards. And actually, there's only 2. I take that back. 3 of the 4 receivers have passing yards. There we go to Epps again. Now we're seeing a little bit of movement there as they come to the near side. I'm just looking for anything that would indicate where they could go.
Well, let me tell you, I think that some of the information we're getting at the beginning of the season as the squads, work out their data sharing is a little wonky. I've seen numbers that have Doug Brown having caught 98 yards just last week, when Epps threw for 3 touchdowns. So I think he is their main air weapon. They've been splitting him out on the left and just ignoring him. So, the closest they came to even throwing to his side of the ball ended up an interception.
Zambuano, Brown, White, and Clark, your wideouts. I've only got stats on 3. And your primary receiver on the near side.
That is Doug Brown, number 7.
And that first pass being a pick. It'll be interesting when they go back to the air. So far, it's been the Epps show. His biggest gain was on the previous play on the near side.
Well, hey, nothing against Epps. He's doing the best he can with what he's been given to work with. But if it's the Epps show, they may be looking for a midseason replacement because that show's going to get canceled. That's no commentary on the boys' play. I think they should stay in the game. I'm just saying that not much of a show right now. Los Al's got their number, and they're going to have to try something different.
4th down and 4. Cody Paul for Los Alamitos stands on his 40-yard line. So, again, another good field position opportunity coming up. Milani, no pressure on that kick. It's short. Cody Paul, fair catch, and that's taken on the 46-yard line. So Los Alamitos will be 4 yards from midfield.
You know, hey, that scares me a little bit. Do you just let that ball drop? Do you go on all fours, go down on 2 knees to catch a wobbling ball like that? Well, he did, and he caught it. That's some confidence.
Yep, lots of white jerseys in the neighborhood. So as you say, Los Alamitos offense really only had 1 possession. It's been a special teams and defense score fest for the Griffins early. We're at 3:51 here in the first quarter. Standard spread offense is Holmes is your man in motion. Lagarde goes out to Holmes. Good pursuit there by the Wildcats. Bad tackling. Holmes gets around the corner and will be a couple of yards short of the first down.
Now, you know, they said they've only had 1 possession. I think that was, what, their 4th play, maybe their 3rd play of the game right now? That first possession, they scored pretty quickly.
We'll talk more about it as the game continues, but the game next week, week 5, against Santa Margarita has really been the standout game of pre-league play. And one of the things we've been looking at is, could the Griffins stay focused enough to get through 4 weeks before getting to that game? We'll comment on that in a moment. Cody Paul blast out of the backfield, and he is almost gone.
They're going to give it to him. It was close.
Out at the 1-yard line.
Wow. Like I said, you got to find him and catch him.
Mills Morris with the touchdown-saving tackle coming all the way over from his cornerback position on the other side of the field. So showing some good speed there, needed every bit of it.
Watch number 4 here. Finally track him down.
Just outrunning everybody. Deceptive and spectacular. Wow, that is close. Lagarde, Cody Paul gets hit. Shoe on the field. Were they going to give him enough forward progress to break the plane? It would appear not, but that is close.
3rd time's the charm, Cody. 3rd time's the charm. You know, I'll tell you
no, wait a minute. No, I guess they did. Yep, that touchdown. Boy, that was uneventful. I guess when you've put 3 on the board, the 4th one just is kind of ho-hum.
I think so.
I did not see a signal from the referees. Extra point pending. Snap back, ball down and up, and perfect. 28-0. 3:25 left on the clock. And there you see new receivers coach, Keenan Howry, a great addition to the staff. Former Oregon Duck, Minnesota Viking. And coach says he walked up and said, "Hey, coach, you need some help? I'm available." And there you have it. What a great opportunity the receivers are getting for Los Alamitos. There's the faithful, the student section for the Griffins, and they have a lot to cheer about.
Absolutely.
And thank you again to Consolidated Disposal Services for helping us bring you exciting high school football.
I can't believe how young the kids in high school are now, because the other option would be that we're getting older.
Never.
So that can't
Never.
be. I'm pretty sure that they let them in at 5 now. That's all I'm saying.
Mills Morris back deep, and Tevin Epps. They have not had any opportunity for a run back at all due to the strong leg of Brett Baton.
I expect more of the same here.
And there's the happy cheerleaders. We'll have a special opportunity tonight. Some junior cheerleaders have been spending the week at Los Alamitos High School working with some of the varsity, junior varsity, sophomore and freshman cheerleaders, and they will be performing. These would be, 6th, 7th, 8th graders.
Middle school kids.
Middle
absolutely.
school kids, and they've been working out with the high school kids, so they will be performing tonight. Is there a chance at a return? They're going to let them have it.
Oh.
And the only time, and actually should have let that one
Probably
go.
should have let it go.
Mills Morris gets a glimpse of a return, but may have given up 5 yards for the effort.
You know,
Ball on the 15.
Hoping to strike an emotional blow with a good return, maybe. I don't know. Hey, you know, those little girls were really working out. They went to the high school, did a clinic 2 hours a day for the last 2 or 3 days, 3 days, and now their debut tonight, and they're all excited, being the big time with the high schoolers.
Alan will hopefully get Lindsay downstairs to get a word with some of them. So 3:20 on the clock. Vanna trying to get something going. And there's his favorite guy, Epps.
I'm starting to wonder if maybe there are some secret concerns that we don't know about with some of the personnel involved in the running game, because now it's almost defying logic.
Well, then you see the one chance they take by putting it in the air. Of course, they're not giving up much by the field position they're surrendering, especially with Cody Paul that gets a decent return. The Wildcats going to have to figure out something, or this is going to be a long night, short for the starters for Los Alamitos. Vanna from the shotgun. High snap, going to try it a different way. Same result. So Epps, the 5'9", 175-pound senior, just cannot get anything going. And I don't know if the Wildcats have been across the 25-yard line yet tonight.
No, especially with the heads-up defense. They've been all over the running game. Number 7 there, Cody Marshall, he was in position to take the handoff on that last play.
Let's take a look at this defensive line for Los Alamitos. Trevor Brand at 205, Jeff Hostetler at 210, Charles Bromberg at 215, and Michael Hayden, sophomore, at 220. Number 99 had one of those tackles for a loss. Very solid up front. Second pass of the night, Vanna, and looking for Epps. Epps caught up with Trevor Brand near the line of scrimmage. Not enough room to be able to pull that down, and that'll bring up a 4th down.
Now, remember, you know, like I talked about earlier about how universities here for an education. For them, absolutely, the field of play is huge. They know that they're playing a little bit above what they've seen, and they're trying to step up. But a young team, we'll talk about that more in a little bit.
Ayla Vanna just getting some insight from the coach. Milani, he's been busy tonight. And Cody Paul wisely steps away. Nope, then he goes in and fields it. I'll tell you, he cannot just see a ball sitting on the field. He pictures it in his mind, in his hands, in a touchdown.
Absolutely. He's the guy that's going to throw himself on the grenade. You know, he's not letting that thing just sit there. Talking to the coach earlier about how young this team is, 10 seniors on a 33-man roster. And like, as I mentioned earlier, most of these guys are just in their 3rd varsity game of their high school career. So taking in a lot of stuff right now. They said that they don't even have lights at their school. So this is their first night game.
Well, and you folks probably wouldn't have known it had you not been here, but they did show up quite late, had an abbreviated warm-up coming from their school, and got started late. So they were on just out of the reach there of Kyle Roberts. But the point was, you know, it was a long drive. They were caught in traffic. Who knows, got a late start. And, you know, not uncommon from some of these teams from LA City. It's a long trek after a long day at school as we take a look at this pass.
Oh, it was close. You know, and you couldn't ask for a worse situation in traffic. They start their school's located basically at the 405 and the 10. So that's a long, slow 405 drive.
Calvin Robinson, the defender there of Kyle Roberts. Kendall Holmes cuts it back inside. Decent pursuit there by the Wildcats. So the first quarter is nearing an end, down to 120, 28-0, Los Alamitos on top. And this will be a 3rd down play, one of the first ones tonight for the Griffins. Mark the ball on the 46-yard line. Lagarde out to Holmes, cuts it back inside. He's got blazing speed and just caught by the shoestrings as he goes out at about the 30-yard line.
Yeah, great job catching the ball, great job after the ball. And I think that probably was a little disheartening. Here you have them 3rd and 7 for the first time. Long 3rd down, and bam, pick up a 15 or 20 yards. Oh, got a flag in the field.
Yep, flag at the 50-yard line against Los Alamitos. We'll await the call. So holding for the Griffins. Clock at 55 seconds.
So the Wildcats get a break here. You know, this might be some sort of momentum changer for them. We'll see.
Now for Los Alamitos, that brings up 3rd down and 10. Lagarde, chance to go long, and does. And that is caught.
Still up.
Josh Keiko fighting for extra yardage. A 3rd down and 10. Mark it inside the 5-yard line. Josh Keiko with 3 touchdowns on the season. A 38-yard average will not hurt that average with that reception.
No, let's check this out. Look at this. Catches the ball, and we think he's done. Number 4 gets a hold of him and then loses him. And look at that 2nd, 3rd effort. Still won't go down.
Well, Miles Morris with the coverage and let him slip away. And then Justin Johnson with the touchdown-saving tackle. And, hey, Mills Morris had pretty good coverage there. Actually, the ball deflected just a little bit, but the concentration of Josh Keiko allows that 3rd down to be a huge pickup. And Kendall Holmes walks in.
It was just a matter of time. He's been wearing it for the last couple of plays. You knew he was destined.
So Griffins continue to roll.
Number 4, Mills Morris, is actually one of the key defensive players that the coach mentioned by name in being key to trying to cause some mistakes in this game. And, you know, he's the one that saved the Cody Paul touchdown for a second.
Brett Baton tacks on the extra point, and the Griffins now pulling away. And, folks, we still have 15 seconds left here in the first quarter.
Hey, what are your feelings on the new mercy rule?
Based on a couple of the games that I've seen, Mayfair, the one in which it was invoked, there's all the junior cheerleaders. Let's go ahead and take another look at that touchdown. Lagarde, Holmes, watch this. No one within 5 yards of him. Great blocking. You saw Cody Paul jump out in front and put a nice block on. You know, running backs, receivers love downfield blocking, and this Los Al team, very, very good at that. So the new mercy rule, we covered the game 2 weeks ago against Mayfair. Mayfair was looking at 56 and change hung on them. They couldn't get out of there fast enough.
No, I hear you. However, and we'll talk about more after this return, or lack thereof. Same time.
Probably the deepest kick of the game. And so far, Los Al's Brett Baton has been busy. And he's getting stronger, it would appear.
You look at a game like this where you know, you've got a team that's jumped out so far ahead, you know, still in the first quarter. There's a good chance that we're going to kick in. If at this pace, we'll kick into the mercy rule in the second quarter, potentially. At this pace, absolutely. And then all of a sudden you have to ask yourself, with, you know, 2.5 quarters of gameplay, does the mercy rule work against the team that's behind?
Well, the rate this one's going, University may be quite content to just get on the bus and go.
I hear you.
I mean, in the game 2 weeks ago, and Kevin Robinson was covering the game. Of course, he's a coach at the high school level. And I asked him about Mayfair if they would be doing a lot with that tape. And he said, you know what, there's just certain games that you don't even want to look at the tape. It's just, there's no value. There's no education to it. And it's just better to move on from it. And I would venture to say for the Wildcats, this may be one of those situations.
You don't think this is going into the Wildcats archive?
Setting up your home with interior lighting can really be a major task. That's where McNally Electric's new website can help. Its practical and simple layout, along with its amazing search engine, allows you to sort by lighting type, style, dimension, and other factors that could help you with your decisions. Of course, McNally Electric's lighting consultants are always ready to assist you at any time. Visit our showroom in Los Alamitos, where we have a selection of over 200 vendors. We have what you're looking for. McNally Electric, affordable, quality lighting.
Welcome back. Second quarter just ready to get underway. And the Wildcats on offense trying to get something going. Aleph Vanna, and we've got movement. Looked like on the offensive line that right guard jumped off Odin. We'll wait the call. Referees are trying to sort this out. And that's going to go against the Wildcats. They're already deep and getting deeper.
Yeah, now the challenge becomes mental as much as anything else. I mean, you've got a whole football game's worth of touchdowns already up on the field against you, and you're stepping up to the line trying to remember which one of your plays is worth 35 points.
Well, they just need to get some positive yardage, and at this moment, nothing that they are doing has shown that they are capable of that. It'll be interesting to see what the offensive coordinators are going to draw up here. Well, we've got a new running back in there. That may be one of their attempts.
That may be Johnson.
Kendall Holiday, number 9.
Okay. Haven't seen a lot of him yet this year.
No, it looks like he has a little bit faster breakout speed. 5'9", 155-pound junior.
Let's see if they can get him around the end, get him some open air. Let's see.
3rd down and 7. Would normally be a passing down, but so far, Vanna only attempting 2 passes, 1 a pick and 1 all for naught, his 3rd of the night, and throws it behind the intended receiver, Zamudio. Zamudio, a 5'7", 165-pound senior. And a turnover. It's a 4th down, and the punting team comes out. Milani, he's been busy, and there's Cody Paul again. Every punt he has taken tonight, he has been within a few yards of the 50-yard line. Good punt by Milani.
Distance.
Best of the night. Cody Paul gets back, takes a bit of a Los Alamitos roll, and rolls back across the 36. Still pretty decent field position for Los Alamitos.
I've made a little U-turn there, and the main thing is that Cody Paul didn't dive in there and try to make a Willie Mays catch on that. Makes me nervous when he does that, I'm telling you.
Well, he, as I tell you, cannot stand watching that ball sitting on the ground. Coach Barnes, the winningest coach in Orange County history, looking pretty comfortable that he'll tack on another one.
I don't
with a 35-point lead.
Yeah, you know what's going through his brain in there's a 35-point lead? I wonder if my TiVo's working.
Yeah, what's on tonight that I'm missing? Lagarde, Cody Paul going to get a little bit of a break, as he should. And the ball carrier there is Bellardi. James Bellardi, 5'10", 180-pound senior. It's nice to get some of the other skill position players in.
Well, and they want to work out your vocals by making you say Lagarde to Bellardi as much as possible.
Yeah, I was going to say, not related. First and 10. 10:43 left here before the halftime break. Bellardi is your running back. He'll go outside and then in, and doesn't mind laying the hat down and gets another first down. Good, strong running by the senior.
He's just mowing those guys over, you know. The linebacker crew was named as part of the key to their game right now. They've got two junior linebackers in Miles Jackson and Eddie Aguilar, who are supposed to be holding up that middle. I think that Somebody got shaken up on that one.
So Belardi's going to stay in, and then they go the spread offense. Belardi. Well, you're not losing much with Belardi. He goes north-south. That's what you got to like about him. And what you can see is Barnes is pretty much decided we're not going to put it up in the air, but they're not giving up any offense by keeping it on the ground. That offensive line for Los Alamitos, let's give them a little credit. Rowdy Bush at 250, a junior. Redmond, 285, a junior. The center, Anderson, at 230, a senior. Iacano, 250, a senior. And Sanders at 305, he's a senior also. They are just blowing open some huge holes tonight.
Yeah, and they only need it for a second with the speed of all the Griffin running backs. Everybody taking advantage of that nice blocking up front.
So ball's on the 27-yard line.
It was.
So penalty marker down. They'll mark off 5 yards. .929 left here in the first half. Trips on the far side.
Keep an eye on number 2.
And Belardi stays in. Back up the middle. Man, that middle has been wide open, especially on the right-hand side. Iacano and Sanders just blowing open some big holes. Robinson comes up to make the stop, and when you're calling a corner making a stop, you know that's been a pickup.
Absolutely.
So one of the things we talked about is after a scary situation last week, 21-8, but the game was closer than the score would indicate. If they punched it in on that goal line stand, if Los Alamitos D didn't show up, we could have a different game. Probably the best defensive play of the night there is Belardi is taken down. Rivas with the tackle. But you got to look at the next opponent. Barnes lit these guys up saying you can't take anybody for granted. And he said, Barnes said that they played 2 weeks of perfect ball, and then it was far from perfect in week 3. They still got out of there with the win, but you can bet that they were going to straighten things out tonight.
Oh, absolutely. Send the message.
Second down and 13. Lagarde across the middle. Kyle Roberts, nice throw on a rope.
He had him beat right off the line. Lagarde saw him. Bam, 6.
There you have it. 8-11, 41-0, pending the extra point here. We'll be at 42, and we will likely be calling some other jerseys. We'll do the best we can, as Baton has been a busy man tonight. Snap back, ball down, kick is up, and that is good. 42-0. And University, I'm going to venture to say, has not even been across the 25-yard line. It is a long night and not nearly over. Let's go downstairs to Lindsay Mays.
Hi, I'm here with the LAHS Junior Song and Cheer League. Everyone say hi to Mom. We have some of the most enthusiastic LAHS fans here. They've had quite a week. I'm here with Ashley Pollard. Ashley, what did you guys learn this week?
Well, we've been having a great week. We've been learning dances from the cheerleaders, and we've been having a really great time.
And what did you actually learn? What was
We did a bunch of cheers that the girls are doing on the field, and we learned a dance that we're going to be performing at halftime.
And did everyone have fun? All right, LaSalle fans, look for them at halftime. Wait, bye, guys.
Thank you, Lindsay. Deep into her work there.
Absolutely. Hey, Ashley Pollard, that name sounds awfully familiar.
I don't know the person, but I can tell you that she had a great time at the cheer camp this week, and they're looking forward to tonight. And that ball in the end zone again.
Well, and I can tell you that she's a lovely young lady, which speaks mountains about her mother.
Right. You know why? Because I'm here all the time. So there you have it. So the kids will be cheering with the high school cheerleaders at halftime, so you're going to want to stay around for that. We will bring that to you. But we've got football to play. 8 minutes, 11 seconds. And Los Alamitos pulling away. We were talking about Barnes probably not having Lagarde put it in the air, but down, 13 yards to go, second down, he was really obligated to get out of that hole and hit a Kyle Roberts, 6'2", 185-pound senior, right on the money. And one of the things that we've really seen about Lagarde this year, Kevin was talking about it 2 weeks ago, the strength of his arm, his accuracy have absolutely been lights out this year.
He's always performed pretty well, but he's absolutely grown into the position, the kind of play you'd expect to see from a senior. Nothing but pleasure in watching this young man play.
Go ahead and take another look at that touchdown and that accurate throw by the senior Lagarde from the shotgun.
Sees his man right away. He's got him beat, and then it's just a nice glide to 6.
And I'll tell you, Miles Morris is going to have nightmares tonight because Lagarde has been absolutely dead on in accuracy. And Miles Morris has been involved in a lot of the plays his way.
Yeah, one of the things when you play so far away from home is you don't really have a lot of folks in the stands. I think there's more cheerleaders here for University than there are fans because it's just so far away.
Well, it's tough on a Thursday night, getting down, lots of traffic, so good point. Not a lot of supporters. And a huge play. And in tonight is Dan Seichi, 220-pound junior, lit up the running back.
I think he heard us talk about how there weren't very many fans. He wanted to make him feel at home, give him a hug. Very, very compassionate young man.
Well, there's a lot of underclassmen. You've got Hayden as a sophomore on the O-line. Seichi, the junior, just gets right through, right up into the face of Epps. Also right in there was Brand.
I think they flipped a coin. You hit high, hit low.
Epps checks back in. We saw most of him in the first quarter, and he'll be having nightmares. Now Epps gets outside, but great pursuit by Los Alamitos. Not going to give him the corner. Seichi in and around the tackle along with Mitchell.
So they're having trouble with the corners. They're having trouble with the middle. Looking for anything to work at this point.
Clock now under 7 minutes.
So this is what I'm saying. You're going to go on. I think we'll probably see another Los Al score just based on how productive they've been. You go into the locker room down 49, okay, and your team is down. Traditionally, a running clock does not benefit you. And you have a team in the Wildcats that have scored 7 touchdowns in a game before.
3rd down and 6 for the Wildcats. Epps finding a little room, but good pursuit there by the Griffins. In on the stop for Los Alamitos. Molina, sophomore, 5'11", 185-pound young man. University football, very similar to the University of Miami logo.
Got a University of Miami logo. You got your Boise State colors. Famous Boise State player came from this program, as a matter of fact.
High snap there. Milani pulls it down. Another decent punt by Milani and gets a Wildcat bounce, and Cody Paul wisely steps away, mark it at the 24-yard line.
All right, don't take their victories big and small. Good kick. Decent field position. Gives them a little, not necessarily new life, gives them a little motivation on this series. At this point, you're playing series by series. You can't think about the 42 up there because you got another half to play. So still got to focus on stopping them and getting into the end zone when you can.
5:35 left in the first half. Lagarde still in. Velarde checks in at running back. Safe handoff there. Pickup of 4 is Bilardi.
How much does Bilardi weigh, Fritz?
180.
Okay.
5'10" senior.
Definitely has some speed out there.
And as we saw, not afraid to lay a hit.
No. As we saw and as the secondary for the Wildcats felt.
Mark it at a pickup of 5. That'll bring up second down. Bilardi, handoff, trying to go outside, and the ball's on the ground. Wildcats have it.
They have it. That's what they've been looking for all game long. 77 busted into that backfield for the Wildcats. Didn't actually get his hand on the runner, but he caused some confusion.
Let's take another look at it. Gang tackling, ball just pops out. So the Wildcats get an opportunity. Best field position by far of the night with 4:50 left here in the first half. Vanna throwing it into the flat, but no white shirt in the area. That'll bring up a second down. Mark the ball on the 31-yard line.
Well, if there's ever been a time, it's now maybe to air it out. I got to be honest with you. I'm a little perplexed about the strategy, but you know he may be looking for some things from his team tonight that we're not sure of, and you know who am I to second guess?
Well, trips on the near side, looking a lot like Los Alamitos. Nice pass. That's the first catch.
Doug Brown
of positive yards. Doug Brown, junior, 5'8", 168-pounder. And the Los Alamitos student body not looking real concerned. So far on the season, the Wildcats have put up 77 points in their 2-game winning streak. And they'll go trips on the near side. They'll bring up a 3rd down and 4. Vanna gets a little air under it, throws it up for grabs, and that is out of bounds. That intended for Clark.
Clark gets a hand on it, but that was a tough catch to make. You know, and as you pointed out earlier, these guys did go practically from the bus right into the game. Not a chance to warm up.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. I was thinking that they were going to just push the game back by 30 minutes. And then when we got the call that it was going to be pretty much a 5-minute delay, literally they had just finished stretching. They did not run any schemes at all. They're going for it on 4th down. Might as well. Vanna. And that is picked, and in and out of the hands. He had nothing but real estate and a touchdown to look at. Carter Lee will be seeing that one again in his sleep.
Oh, absolutely. Let's see it again.
Vanna,
Christmas present right here.
Yep, double coverage. And that would have been a sure touchdown. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank another one of our sponsors, Los Alamitos Orthopedic and Sports Physical Therapy. Mike Mandis and Andy Einhorn have been great supporters of the Griffin sports programs over the years. Not only do they do wonderful rehabilitative work, they offer great programs for injury prevention. See Los Alamitos with the carry there. That's Los Alamitos Orthopedic and Sports Physical Therapy. Thank you again for your support of Los Alamitos Television.
You know, regardless of how this game turns out for the Wildcats, their coach, Lee Lowe, has done a great job turning this program around. Like I mentioned earlier, you know, they had gone 2 seasons without a win, trying to replace their longtime coach, E.C. Robinson.
Yeah, 0-9 last year, and with 2 victories here in 2011, you thought, wow, this is a season that's turning around as Lagarde tosses it out to Kendall Holmes, put a little bit too much on it, in and out of the hands of Holmes.
But as we've seen before, you know, different coaches are looking for different things out of their pre-conference or pre-league play. And, you know, this was a game about how do we match up against a program that's definitely going to be a little tougher than things we've seen before, and what kind of adjustments we need to make.
LaGuardia right back to the air. Same pattern that the touchdown was done on. Kyle Roberts not going to catch him. That down out slant pattern, deadly.
Adjustment number 1, don't let that happen.
Same touchdown play when Los Alamitos was staring at that 2nd down and 13 for the touchdown, and that wide open Kyle Roberts, 7 touchdowns on the season.
Now, I'll tell you something interesting. Coach Lowe was with the program before. He did work under E.C. Robinson, and he was the defensive coordinator. So usually when you step into from head coach from defensive coordinator to head coach, a lot of focus on that side of the ball.
Baton punches it through. He's been perfect tonight.
Well, I tell you what, there's been some talk, and this is just a rumor, of those junior cheerleaders, instead of actually cheering at halftime, possibly playing in the second half, has not been confirmed.
We'll have to get on that. Let's take a look at that great throw by LaGuardia and great catch by Kyle Roberts. Right on the money, and you aren't going to catch him. 6'2", 185-pound senior, and LaGuardia throwing it right on the money, making it easy for him, catches it in stride.
And that's the key. Catch it in stride and then actually accelerate it.
Tall kid. If you're on the field with him, I'd say he's a shade taller than even 6'2". He's a tall kid, so he's a big target, long legs, and second time he's burned that defensive secondary for the Wildcats.
Yeah.
So Miles Morris on the near side stands on the 1, and on the far side is Epps.
Wildcats cannot catch a break. I gotta be honest with you. I'd like to see him get in the end zone. I think that pays for the drive.
And that may be returnable by Epps, taken at the 2-yard line. Mark it down across the 20 to the 22.
Second best possession of the night, field position wise. No, that's largely on the heels of so many of the touchbacks starting at the 20.
Now listen, what do you expect from Baton? The guy's exhausted. He's been kicking all night long.
You're right.
So the Wildcats, with 3:04 left here before the break, trying to get something going. On the last series, we probably saw the best pass by Vanna and reception, yet not enough of it to really create a drive.
Well, and that's kind of the point I was driving at earlier. Is again, you get right off the bus, not a lot of warm up, and then you don't throw the ball for the better part of the first half. When you finally do start throwing, you're ready.
Ball carrier, Manfu'u,
and
junior, 6'1", 145-pounder. Second down and 3. Nice pickup there on first down. Give it to the first man through, Epps. Without a passing game, playing Orange County teams, you are just not going to surprise anyone.
Well, and that's the thing is that, like I said, last week, 3 out of their 4 touchdowns, 3 out of their 21 of their 28 points came in the air. So we know they can get some completions.
Handoff, keep it on the ground. Biggest pickup on the ground tonight, and that'll be enough for a first down. I'm going to venture to say, correct me if I'm wrong, first down of the night?
I believe you're right. And not given to Epps, number 9 in there right now.
Holiday.
5'9",
155-pounder. So fresh set of downs as we are looking at 1:35 in the second quarter. Vanna, give it to Holiday. Holiday right into the center of the line and actually moving the pile just a little bit.
They'll take it. They will take it. You know what? If they just don't have to give the ball back again before the half, I think that they'll be happy.
Well, we're starting to see some subs in there on that D line. Lopez out on the corner. 2nd down and 6 for the Wildcats. Fake it to Holiday, and that is, again, in between a white and a red shirt, a little bit risky. Terrence Brown, the nearest Griffin to that ball.
Looks like he was trying to get Ruben Zabuana for the Wildcats, but way overthrown. Way overthrown.
I'd like to take this time to thank another one of our sponsors, Edward Jones Investments, making sense of marketing. Whether you're preparing for retirement, your children's education, or the unexpected, call Beverly Rigney or Ryan McLaughlin at Edward Jones Investments in Los Alamitos. Again, thank you to all of our sponsors tonight for your support. Could not bring you exciting high school football without it. 56 seconds. And there you see some of the history, I would guess, of LA City football. And that history has not been particularly favorable to the Wildcats.
Well, only in recent years, like I said, the previous coach left on a winning record, even had more than one undefeated season. So they're trying to return to their days of glory, and they're hoping that Coach Lowe can help them get there.
And there you see all the little junior cheerleaders. We talked about middle school. Obviously, we've got a lot younger cheerleaders at that camp this last week. Holiday with the handoff, running east and west and taken down. So 43 seconds left. There's a future cheerleader.
Absolutely.
And I'll tell you, not fearful of the camera. Criminy sakes.
They start young.
And look at passion. Look
yeah.
at that passion. They've got something to say.
Don't have the heart to tell them there's no mic down there.
Yeah.
We could just make it up. Go Griffins!
Sorry, but that speech you spent all afternoon on, you're going to have to share it with Mom and Dad. So, are they going to just let this one wind down? Nope. Timeout Wildcats as they look down at 4th and 5. And I'm sure the thought here is, do they go for it on 4th down? The fear is you give Los Alamitos 10 seconds and they could burn you. Kyle Roberts, one connection there, and it could be done.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you, the fear is that, 2 out of the first 3 touchdowns were scored by the defense. So we're not even talking about necessarily getting the offense on the field before you get another 6 against you. I say go for it. What the heck?
Well,
there's a fan of some dental defense right there.
Yeah.
Denture defense at its finest.
Well, you knew the team that was going to take on Los Alamitos after a shaky win.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, let's be respectable. It was a very nice win for the Griffins in week 3. You just got the feeling, Barnes said it, we played 2 perfect weeks. And I said, so what are you saying, week 3 wasn't as perfect? Nah. Well, the Wildcats are going to be on the receiving end of a return to perfection.
So what you're saying is some of these are some West Adam prep touchdowns that were left over in the bag?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, in a few plays. Now, look at the confusion on the field. They don't even have enough players on the field. So things going from bad to worse for the Wildcats. Milani at the moment in to kick. After a timeout, high snap, we've seen a lot of that tonight. Los Alamitos not even looking to pursue that. And that drops and takes a Los Alamitos bounce. Be out near the 25-yard line.
I'd like to see him go for it at this point. What do you got to lose? I guess you're sticking to fundamentals, sticking to your game plan, because at this point, it's more about working out the kinks.
Well, let's go back to a couple weeks ago what Kevin was talking about in that, sometimes the kinks aren't even worth looking at. I
Yeah.
mean, this is just a highly dominating Los Alamitos team. The question is, do you see any teams of Los Al caliber in your schedule? And if so, then you maybe have some kinks to work out.
And I believe they do.
Bilardi with the carry. And that takes care of the first half. 49-0 Los Alamitos in complete control of week number 4. Complete control. Keith, your thoughts that we haven't already shared?
My thoughts are they better have I don't think that you have a 49-0 strategy, so I'll be interested to see what they do and how they play. You know, I'm all for just throwing that ball up there, getting it in the air. You really can't hurt yourself at this point, so maybe there's some freedom to do whatever you want and experiment in the second half for the Wildcats. The Griffins have got nothing to complain about right now, and the fans are about to be treated to a cute attack of the junior cheerleaders.
Well, we are going to let the visual of the Los Alamitos Griffin cheerleaders and their junior mates speak for themselves. We'll step aside.
Well, let me focus before you take the shot.
Get him over there. It's like, turn the mic on. You're the mic.
Well, let me.
Worthington Lissac Insurance Services has been serving your area for over 20 years. Our friendly staff will work with you to come up with a policy that works best for you. We work with Mercury, Safeco, Progressive, Fireman's Fund, and the Hartford. We offer coverage for auto and home insurance for homeowners, condos, and rent.
Quit playing around and clean out the garage.
Quit playing around, huh? I'll show her. Let's go, Joe.
Clean out your garage and sell Play It Again Sports, your gently used sports and fitness gear.
Welcome back to Long Beach Veterans Memorial Stadium. Second half action coming right up. Los Alamitos on top 49-0 over University. Just a reminder, this telecast is brought to you in large part by Consolidated Disposal Services, an environmental partner you can count on, and also by CI Solutions and Randy Hill of First Team Real Estate, Sparta Graphics, and Southland Credit Union. Thank you to all of our sponsors for helping us put on this broadcast tonight. The Griffins rolling, Keith Jones.
More than rolling, torpedoing perhaps. You know, 49 zip in the first half, we've already come into effect of having the running clock in the fourth quarter. The question becomes, how do the Wildcats come out? I mean, the way I see it is you've got to treat this like a whole new ball game, and hope to win the second half. Not to say that they will end up with more final points than the Griffins, but you eat an elephant one step at a time. I think the game is probably out of hand score-wise. So now you're looking to measure your second half performance against your first half performance, and hope that you can at least get to mount some more defense and some offense, all the above in the second half.
Well, for Lee Lowe, you would think they just need little wins, like how about a string of first downs, or how about a couple of receptions that pick up 5 to 10 yards.
Forward progress, 3 plays in a row.
Little has been working all night long. That will be taken by Cody Paul, and look out, he is gone. I mean, he and Kendall Holmes is such a web. In fact, Kendall Holmes ran with him as an escort.
That's right. He actually, if you listen carefully, he had the siren
wingman.
Going.
There was the wingman. So right out of the gate, talk about some forward progress and some positive momentum. The Wildcats kick it to Cody Paul. And Kendall Holmes is no better. I mean,
what's your choice there?
He can hurt you just as much as any. And
choose your poison.
Well, and there you have a fan. She's going to have a very raspy voice tomorrow with all that cheering. So Brett Baton comes in. Kyle Roberts, the holder. Perfect placement on the tee, and that is up and good.
Okay.
So 11:50
There's some
left in the third quarter.
Let's see that again, can we?
I think we can arrange that.
All right, there's Cody Paul Weston on the sideline.
And there's his wingman right there with him.
Look, there you go. The Flying Twins right there.
You're good. He's just saying, you're good. I got you. And that hole opened up a mile wide.
Right down the middle of the field, and he was waiting. He's been chomping at the bit to open one of those up all game.
Well, and he actually was out good part of the second quarter, that being Cody Paul. In the first half, 4 carries for 60 yards and 1 touchdown, one Cody Paul.
Well, some might say 2 touchdowns, but don't get me started.
So let's see if the break has Baton still warmed up with that leg. Of all the kicks tonight, only 1 has not gone in the end zone. On the near side, Miles Morris. On the far side is Epps. Epps trying to get some momentum across the 25-yard line. Epps getting a lot of the handles, a lot of the carries in the first quarter before they finally had to start mixing some things up.
By a lot, you mean virtually all touches.
Literally almost every touch. And Los Alamitos sniffed that out quickly. Very few of those were for positive yardage in the first few.
But it did not discourage them from trying.
No. Hey, got a game plan, stay with it.
That's right. Okay, might have some trouble on the right here.
Forward progress. Ball carrier is a Mafo'u.
You know that's not really his name, right? They just want you to say that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that.
His name is Bob.
A Manafu'u.
Starting to feel good to you now, isn't it?
I just hope I'm close. Okay. 11-10. We are early in the quarter.
Oh, wrapped them up like a Christmas present. That went nowhere. Nowhere.
So that'll bring up a 3rd down and 6 for the Wildcats. And we talk about these little victories. What do you talk about at halftime, Coach Lee Lowe? Hey, how about a first down here? That would be a positive step. 3rd down and 3, the scoreboard has now marked it. And that will be very close to a first down.
No, you're right. I mean, at the point that you've given up 49 in the first half, you're hoping not for it not to go over 100.
Yep. Man, Fu'u.
Looks like somebody is injured on the field right now. Number 18 for the Wildcats.
That's Clark. Alvin Clark actually.
Number 16. I'm sorry, it's number 16.
Yeah, Alvin Clark lines up in the wide receiver position. So a skill position for the Wildcats. First down and 10. And some positive yards on the ground. Now, again, against the second team for the most part. So making some positive yardage there. Let's go downstairs to Lindsay.
I'm here with Brianna, a varsity LaSalle song leader, and Summer, a junior song and cheer for LaSalle song and cheer. And Brianna, how do you think they did?
I did really, really good. They practiced really good, and their performance was amazing. They really performed good.
No offense, they kind of stole the show.
Yeah, I think so. They're so cute.
Now, Summer, were you nervous?
No.
How long have you been practicing?
For 3 days.
Now, this is your aunt, right? Was she a good teacher?
Yes.
Are you going to grow up to be like her one day?
Yes.
Okay. Give your big LaSalle elf for Go LaSalle.
Well, thank you very much. That was a great shot there. And it's great to get these young kids, looking up to the high school kids. And it's not only the guys on the football field, it's the girls on the sideline. It's a big deal. Big deal. It's a great program that the Los Alamitos cheerleaders put on. And there's another pick. Great extension.
That's got to be so disheartening. The Wildcats get their, I believe, second first down.
Yeah, well, definitely their most positive yardage of the night. Daniel Tyler, 5'9", 180-pound senior, just extending himself.
Watch him stretch on this. He just really gets up there. Look at that. Textbook. Snatches that ball out of the air.
Zambuano, the intended receiver. And again, the long night for Aleph. Vanna is just getting longer. 9:05. And some of the coaching staff there for the Wildcats can't get this game over quickly enough. So no new QB in for Los Alamitos. Nick Wendell, 6'2", 200-pounder. And we've been seeing a lot of Nick Wendell, especially in the first couple of weeks.
The trainers seem to be working on the Wildcats' Alvin Clark, number 16, that came out of the game with a limp. It looks like it may be just an ankle injury. They've taped him up, and he may get back in the game.
So Wendell and Bellardi in the backfield. Your man in motion is Gordon. And Gordon with the carry, fighting for extra yardage. So typical of Los Alamitos play is you don't lose a lot. These kids know they're fighting for a position, and they're fighting all practice long, and they are not going to let up just because this game is out of reach.
No, absolutely not. You get some more guys touching on the ball, which we can see Los Al's already starting to do. But every touch is precious to every one of these guys out there. They're going to make the most out of it each and every handoff. Nice run for a first down there.
$7:57 left here in the third. Bellardi, far side, nice pickup.
Got a new QB in for Los Al right now.
Yep, that's Wendell. Wendell has seen his fair share of playing time this year. Thank you to some very productive play from the starters. Bellardi with the carry. Boy, he runs north and south. One great thing you love about a running back is that they don't fiddle around towards the sideline. He goes right up the middle, and we've already seen in the first half where he is not afraid at all to put a hat on somebody.
He's head down. We know which way the end zone is. I'm going to go that way. It's an easy digital camera. Just point and shoot.
That's 3rd down and 4 for the Griffins. Gordon is your motion man, gets the carry and maybe gets 1. So should be a change of possession. However, they'll bring out the punt team.
Yeah, you're kind of, come on.
Not get careless with 6:17 left here in the 3rd quarter. Now remember, we do have a mercy rule. Been in place for a year or so, and what does that mean? We've already seen it once this season, and that is, I believe, when you're up by 35 points in the 4th quarter, it is a running clock, meaning it does not stop for change of possession. It does not stop for timeouts. Probably the only stop would be injury, maybe, but boy, it flies by, as we saw against Mayfair. It ends that game quick, so just trying to keep games within reach. And that is a live ball.
Oh, man.
And actually turns out to be probably the best
return
change of possession for the Wildcats.
Yeah, I understand the spirit of the mercy rule. And far be it from me. There's a reason why they don't let me make the decisions or even give me a call. But if you're kicking the mercy rule in because you basically have said the game's out of hand, the down team is probably not going to come back even if you give them the tool of timeouts. Well, at that point, maybe we just go home. No one gets hurt.
Well, I am surprised that no one called you on that. That's got to be very devastating for you.
I'm hard to get during the week.
Yeah, always voicemail's full too. So 5:36 left in the 3rd. And Aleph Vanna saw probably his best series the last time they touched the ball mid-3rd quarter. Straight up the middle, going to keep it on the ground.
And that best series ending with a pick, though. That's the frustration. Right now, these guys, you know what? Coach Lowe said it's about education. Right now, they're learning how to fight through that frustration. That you got to still come out every down, and they seem to be playing with their heads up, but just insurmountable at this point. I don't know what you do.
Manfu'u with the carry. Number 21 beginning a lot of the carries here in the second half. Epps was your first half guy. Now from the I formation. Zambuano, your wideout. Helmets flying around. Now some pushing and shoving.
Well, and there's the frustration of which I just spoke. It's hard. It doesn't take much at that point to set somebody off.
Connor Burley, the LaSalle Griffin, mixing it up, and it looked like that was with the running back, Manfu. So that'll bring up a 3rd down and 4 with the clock continuing to run. Nearing the 4-minute mark here in the 3rd quarter. And not much going even against the second team. Titus. Now that is a defensive lineman football name, Titus.
Absolutely.
260-pounder with the tackle. And since we're talking about football names, you got to love left tackle Rowdy Bush. I mean, if you don't play football, that's a problem.
Yeah. Well, you know what? There are some places where you can be a weatherman, but pretty much those are your options, football or weather.
High snap again. The Wildcats struggling with that snapper.
Oh, that's the thing they're struggling with.
Okay, let's go downstairs to Lindsay Mays.
I'm here with Richie Sebastian, the LaSalle band director. Now, Richie, you guys last year were awarded the Western Region National Champs. To get there, you got to practice. What is your practice schedule like? I've heard it's something just like football's.
It's actually a really pretty intense one. We rehearse 4 times a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. We sometimes even rehearse on Saturdays. We have our own football field. We rehearse our drill movements. We rehearse in class every day as well.
And what do you have in store for us this year?
Very exciting show. It's based on the 4 elements dealing with water, wind, earth, and fire. Today we were able to present our first one, the water, and we have some great performances lined up for us.
Perfect. Any September coming up? Earth, wind, and fire?
That'd be great, though. Just our football game next week, we're hoping to do water and wind.
Perfect. Great. Well, good luck to you this year, and hopefully you guys can bring home that award again.
I appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Thank you for all your work.
Thank you very much, Lindsay. Working overtime, getting all the Los Alamitos people interviewed. We've seen cheerleaders, band directors. Who will she get next?
You know, and there's I like that they're going to be working all 4 elements into their shows this year. I find that exciting, and I can't wait to see how that turns out.
Richie Molina with the ball, with the handoff on the previous play.
Band director said they did water this week. Now, if they were lazy, they'd just play songs by Earth, Wind, and Fire next week and be done with them.
Yeah, just get it over with.
Yeah, and the horns would be excited.
Ruffin with the carry there for Los Alamitos. 2:19 left here in the third quarter. Great that some of these secondary players can get in. Wendell is your QB. Going to throw the screen pass out. Great move there on the outside. Gordon. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank again some of our sponsors, including the businesses of the Los Alamitos Business Elite Sports Team, LA's best. You buy anything from these merchants, and they will give back a percentage to the local school activity of your choice. Some of those merchants included Montage Dentistry, All-American Sign Company, Green Street Interiors, and Pacific Premier Bank. The best program, creating a little extra income for some of these sports teams here at Los Alamitos. 1:13 left. And the punt by Mr. Baton takes a bit of a wildcat bounce and will be marked down about the 27-yard line. And for the Wildcats, they'll get another opportunity before, and they are 1 minute and 1 second away from that mercy rule being invoked, which will be a running clock, and this game will be over quickly once that starts. So for Elif Vena, this is probably his last solid chance in what we would call a regulation form of the game to get some positive yardage. Vanna going to give it to the first man through, and the ball is on the ground. Are you kidding me?
Griffin ball, looks like, from where I'm sitting.
Is that Aravala that lost the handle? And what can you say? A tough night.
Nah, definitely a tough night. Business as usual. Let's see that again.
Aravala was the ball carrier. He was the fullback, quick man through, wondering if he just really got a handle. Yeah, he didn't even get a handle on it.
No, didn't tuck it in, was carrying it around the shoulder pads. I don't know if the handoff was high. God, I'd like to see that again, tell you the truth.
Well, I'll tell you, that's a quick handoff, and, you know, the fullback running through all night, very, very little do they get their hand on the ball. You wonder if it's just a miscommunication by lack of repetition. Ruffin, the ball carrier for Los Alamitos.
Got some decent penetration by the Wildcats on that play. That's a photo op for the yearbook right there.
So loss on the play of 2. And we are under 30 seconds.
How tall is Wendell, Fritz?
Mr. Wendell, 6'2".
I think everybody's 6'2".
Well, it's a good place to start. We'll work from there. Wendell going to keep it.
Oh, that looked a little familiar. Number 9 keeping the ball, running through there.
You know who he kind of looks like, just stature-wise, is a Tim Tebow. Tall and thick. Just on that play, not afraid to tuck it in and go.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So that brings us to the end of the third quarter.
I thought you were going to say Clark Evans, actually.
Well, it reminds me of Clark Evans, too, who was compared to Tim Tebow.
There you go.
Tim Tebow now with the Denver Broncos. Folks, we'll be right back.
Setting up your home with interior lighting can really be a major task. That's where McNally Electric's new website can help. Its practical and simple layout, along with its amazing search engine, allows you to sort by lighting type, style, dimension, and other factors that could help you with your decisions. Of course, McNally Electric's lighting consultants are always ready to assist you at any time. Visit our showroom in Los Alamitos, where we have a selection of over 200 vendors. We have what you're looking for. McNally Electric, affordable, quality lighting.
Fourth quarter action underway, 56-0. Los Alamitos is on top. And folks, don't blink because we are now going with a continuous clock, and this will be in real time, 12 minutes.
Now, this is like soccer, then when it runs out, they add penalty minutes at the end, or no?
Don't complicate things.
Oh, sorry.
Wendell to the air for the first time tonight, and dead on accuracy. That's to Davis. So letting the young man put the ball in the air and doesn't look half bad.
No, Davis looked good on the catch, too.
You know, one of the things that you look at with the Los Alamitos Griffins program is there is such a deep bench. And, you know, you see great players ahead of you. You know, at practices, you've got to earn the position. Nobody gets anything. And, you know, it's no surprise that the second team here is still moving the ball. And what a great game experience for them.
Hey, I got to tell you, I was out at practice earlier this week, and I would not be afraid to say that some of the toughest competition that these guys faced this week was during the practice scrimmages on the field today.
Oh, you bet. Let's go downstairs to Lindsay Mays.
Thanks, guys. Turns out that LAHS football team isn't the only powerhouse at that school. The women's volleyball team is now 14-0. They're first in Orange County and first in Southern California. We're looking forward to a great season, and that the women's volleyball team is going to continue just like the football team and do a great job this year.
Yeah, that volleyball team is quite a group. They are doing very well, and we wish them well. Ruffin with the carry, going east to west, but getting positive yardage. So that'll bring up a first down as they move the chains. They actually pick up a first down inside the 2.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for the Wildcats, we have seen the second team be terribly productive.
Hey, this is one of the best defensive stances we've seen, though. It's, you know what, they might still score, but at least you got time of possession. You actually want to see more time of possession for the Griffins if you're on defense, because the alternative has been a quick score.
Wendell falls forward. That almost looked like a bad snap connection.
Yeah, it might have been.
And the split screen, courtesy of our crack Los Alamitos television crew, showing you all angles of the game. First we had seen of this running clock, as I said, was in week number 2 covering the Mayfair game. And Los Alamitos was well on top there, and Kevin was talking about this being a newer rule, and it does move the game along. So second down and 10 for the Griffins, and they seem almost content to not punch it in, just quarterback sneaks as Wendell just leans forward. Now you almost wonder if it might be worthwhile
4 downs?
getting some extra field goal work for Baton. Never know when they get into the heart of Sunset League play, or even next week against Santa Margarita, where a field goal could come down to a game winner.
That's true. Although when you're this close, I think that his extra points have proven we're in the range.
Easy.
Maybe Wendell just starts running backwards and kneels on the 35 just
for practice. 3rd down and 8. Yeah, Wendell just and again, this is Barnes being respectful of the opponent.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, if he goes for it on 4th, doesn't get in, and gives them the ball back on the 3-yard line, they may not feel the same way. But, it keeps the score from getting too much further out of lopsided.
Yeah, coaching staff for Los Alamitos in the far right in the blue jacket there was Jimmy Barnes, standout quarterback for Los Alamitos. Competed in a couple of CIF championship games. I remember the one against Long Beach Poly at Angel Stadium years ago.
The Barneses are the Mannings of Orange County football.
They absolutely are.
Winning programs all over town.
The older Barnes at Tesoro. So turnover on downs with 6:55, and that clock just continues to run. So the Wildcats deep in their own territory, a place they've been most of the night.
Yeah, now might not be a bad time to look at some of those standings as we go into wind up week 3 here.
Now we'll try to get in what we can with this clock moving. Ball on the 7-yard line for the Wildcats. And that ball is on the ground. Wow. You hope for, I mean, at some point you're getting a sympathetic vote here for the Wildcats.
Oh, sure.
And it's just not going their way. Vanna struggling with the handoff. We had the turnover to the fullback, Aravalo. They gave Los Al the ball back, and again, an exchange challenge.
Looking for anything positive from the Wildcats. Like you said, small victories. Give me a 1st down. Give me a pass completion.
Moving the pile. And that is number 23, Xavier Johnson.
I'll tell you, one of the things that's unfortunate is, with a team like the Wildcats of University, that this is all the Los Al fans are going to see of them, and it's not a pleasant picture. But I assure you, two wins, undefeated, 3 touchdowns thrown by the quarterback in last week's game, 7 touchdowns run by this team the first week. These guys do and can win, and probably will do pretty well in league. But wanted to see how they match up against a tougher opponent tonight.
Straight up the middle, Xavier Johnson. And that'll bring up a 4th down with the clock now under 5 minutes, and the punt crew comes on.
I'm surprised that this is the first we've seen of Xavier Johnson. He actually has some pretty respectable yards and really was the leading rusher in their first victory of the 2 they've had this year. So given how well Epps had been contained, I was looking to see Johnson in the game a lot sooner than now.
Back for Los Alamitos, Josh Campos. And he will have fabulous field position as he stands on the Wildcats' 42. Backs up a little bit. Milani, interesting step there.
Oh, man. Even the balls vote is working against them now.
I would like to take another opportunity here to thank our sponsors, Los Alamitos Orthopedic and Sports Physical Therapy. Mike Mandis and Andy Einhorn have been great supporters of all the Griffin sports programs over the years. Not only do they do wonderful rehabilitative work, they offer great programs for injury prevention. That's Los Alamitos Orthopedic and Sports Physical Therapy. Thank you to them for supporting our program. 3:22 left. And Wendell checks back in. It was the all-Wendell show with just a lean forward, and looks like they're not changing things up too much here. Straight ahead goes Ruffin.
No.
And, I mean, they're not even trying to get any push. Let's take a look at next week for Los Alamitos, the game that everyone had their eye on versus Santa Margarita. That game will be televised on another network. Then there will be a bye week, and then league plays. We open with Edison at Huntington Beach High School, then Fountain Valley back here at Vets. That's homecoming. Newport Harbor at Newport Harbor. Huntington Beach back here, and then finish with Marina at Westminster High School.
You know, and I'm not one of them, but there are those who say that that first game of conference play
could be the season.
See, I'm not one of them to say that, so I'm glad that you were here.
Ruffin, the ball carrier, that game will be on Fox. And for those of you who can't get out here to the Vet, beautiful venue to watch football, and great crew for Fox that will be covering that game. And then Los Alamitos have a week off. Going back to last year, it was week number 4 that the Griffins traveled to West Valley Center in northern San Diego, and that was their first loss. They were 3-0 going into week 4 last year. Late field goal, 28-31 was that loss. Then took on Santa Margarita, as we see Ruffin with the carry again. Took on Santa Margarita, lost 31-7. Not a pretty picture. And so Los Alamitos came into league play with a 3-2 record, and that has not happened much.
No.
So Los Alamitos has had their eye on week 5 for, well, let's say most of the off season, wanting to get back in front of Santa Margarita and have a better showing. So that'll be on their own turf. And another point to be made, Joe Locker was injured, broke his foot. I believe it was the Valley Center game, and Joe Locker was out for the rest of the season.
Right.
So that was a very tough couple of weeks for the Griffins. And then, of course, went on and won the Sunset League. So you're right, Keith. I think that Edison game really is the best competition for the Griffins. And going to take a knee here as the clock winds down. Okay, I'd like to take this last opportunity to thank again our other sponsors, Edward Jones Investments, making sense of marketing, whether you're preparing for retirement, your child's education, or the unexpected. Call Beverly Rigney or Ryan McLaughlin at Edward Jones Investments in Los Alamitos. And again, our sponsors could not put this show on without you. And there we have the last 12 seconds in week 4. Los Alamitos will keep that perfect record of 4-0. And for the Wildcats, fire up the buses. Get this thing done.
They're ready.
2-1, and they have had enough.
Yeah, and somewhere in the back of their minds are thinking, we sat in traffic for this?
Yeah, what were we thinking? Next week, the Wildcats will be taking on Eagle Rock of Los Angeles and then Cleveland High School of Reseda, and then their league play starts. Of course, they are in the Los Angeles City section, and they'll square off against Palisades of Pacific Palisades, Fairfax, Westchester, Venice, and then Hamilton to end their season. And 2-1 record, that's 2 more wins than they've had in a long time. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back with the wrap-up.
Worthington Lissack Insurance Services has been serving your area for over 20 years. Our friendly staff will work with you to come up with a policy that works best for you. We work with Mercury, Safeco, Progressive, Fireman's Fund, and the Hartford. We offer coverage for auto and home insurance for homeowners, condos, and renters. We also offer commercial and business insurance, including commercial property, general liability, and more. Call Worthington Lissack Insurance Services at 562-795-5744.
Welcome back to the Vet. Los Alamitos with a commanding victory keeps their perfect season alive for the Wildcats, 2-1. Let's go downstairs to Lindsay Mays that has one of the stars of tonight's game.
Thanks, Fritz. I'm here with LaSalle superstar number 5, Cody Paul. Cody, before this game, you've had over 350 yards, 6 touchdowns, and tonight you added 2 more to that list. You're getting outside the corner. What's your strategy to get out there?
It's a lot of the slots blocking, like Kendall Holmes and Deshaun Gordon. The line blocks up good up front, and then I already tell the wideouts that I'm going to be looking outside, and they already know to block them inside, and they do a really good job at it.
What do you think is the characteristic that you possess that's so hard for the defenders to get? Your size, your speed, or your power?
I'd honestly say size or speed. I mean, I don't have that much power, but I mean the size definitely helps when they can't see me behind the linemen.
And we have a big game next weekend. What are you going to do this week to prepare so that we have another outcome like this tonight?
We're practicing extra hard. I mean, we have extra practice. We have a little walkthrough on Saturday along with film, so we're going to be working hard. We have a lot of new plays. We haven't really ran much, and we have a lot more to add to the offense and defense.
Well, I hope it works out. I hope you guys do a great job next week and beat Santa Margarita, all right? Good luck. Keep doing what you're doing best, okay, Cody?
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Lindsay. And I'll tell you, Cody Paul, one of the classiest people you will meet. A story from last year, Lindsay was interviewing him, and he says, "Thank you, ma'am." And Lindsay has never forgotten that. And interesting that he would say, and we were commenting, what is his best attribute? He's got obviously the size to hide behind the line. He's, of course, got his speed. And I would disagree. He's a pretty tight package, thick guy for his size. So he's got it all. And if you didn't see there, one of the Wildcats coaches actually came up and congratulated him right before we went on the air. So classy team, the Wildcats, 2-0. 2-1, and they got a rebound next week because they're going to be taking on Eagle Rock. Keith, your final thoughts on tonight's game?
Well, not a huge surprise. We didn't know a lot about the Wildcats, but we know that the tradition of the program, although they've been struggling, a winning program in the past, but you look at something as arbitrary as state rankings where Los Al is ranked in the top 100 and the Wildcats are somewhere around 638. We knew it was going to be a mismatch, but these guys held their head high. I've spoken with Coach Lowe before, and I'll tell you what, they come back and play this game again tomorrow. That's the kind of program they are.
Well, it's a classy group of people, and they hung in there tonight, and they took their loss as well as any could take it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be week 4 in the books. Los Alamitos rolling 56-0 over the Wildcats, the University of University of Los Angeles high school football team. They will be happy to get back to their own neck of the woods. For Lindsay Mays, for Keith Jones, my name is Fritz Pollard. Thank you for watching exciting high school sports here on Los Alamitos Television. Ladies and gentlemen, good night.